All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down something really cool, how a simple creative spark can actually turn into a real-world product. We're going to follow a case study, step by step, to see how one creator used conversational AI to take a single question and build it into a tangible asset.
It all started with this one question. A creator, his name's Mode. He just asked an AI this, not with some grand plan, but with a really clear goal in mind. He wanted to sell something. And this one little sentence, it kicked off this entire journey that really shows you how ideas get built and tested in the creator economy today.
So we're going to follow Mode's path, and we're going to use his actual AI conversation as our guide. We'll get to see exactly how he turned this kind of vague desire into a real, marketable asset. It's basically a masterclass in modern creation.
Now, what's so interesting here is that this whole thing didn't kick off with a business plan or market research. Nope. It started with pure, unstructured creative play. And that's the phase where you find the raw material for any great product.
So in this first stage, Moorhead wasn't just asking for a picture. He was directing a whole scene. I mean, listen to this. A chaotic whirlwind of kitchen stuff caught in a miniature tornado. That is some rich, imaginative fuel to get the creative engine revving.
And out of that kitchen tornado, a character was born, Chef Kaboom. And look, this isn't just a drawing, it's a whole concept. A rogue culinary alchemist with a backstory baked right in, from his scorched apron to his wild mechanical arm. This is exactly what happens when you just let creativity run wild.
And of course, every great character needs an awesome catchphrase, right? If it doesn't sizzle your soul, it's not worth the salt. I mean, that's more than just a line. It's his mission statement. It just goes to show how quickly a compelling world can take shape when you're in that playful phase. And then, this question. This is the pivot. This is the exact moment the creator's mindset shifts from just having fun to thinking about commercial potential. It's the bridge between a cool idea and an actual, viable product.
So now we're heading into phase 2. This is where that creative asset, our guy Chef Kaboom, starts its transformation into real, tangible products. This is where the rubber really meets the road.
So the very first step toward making a product was super practical. The AI just generated a list of real-world platforms for selling digital art. This takes the whole process from this abstract idea to an actual actionable roadmap. It provides direct links to places like Etsy and Redbubble, where your pixels can actually become profit.
But the thinking didn't stop there. It got bigger. The next idea was to build a totally unique brand, the Modeverse. This concept, an action figure of the creator himself with his own tools, it signals a much bigger vision. It's about turning the creator themselves into the brand.
Okay, so after testing the waters with some of these smaller products, Mohad took a much bigger leap. He went back to his original goal, writing a book. But this time around, his approach was way more strategic.
Now this right here is probably the most critical step in the whole process, finding your niche. The first idea for a book was really broad, just a guide on creativity. But after some refining, a much more specific concept came out, a finance guide for young people, but focused on ethical principles. And that shift from broad to specific, it's everything.
So the next crucial step was to turn that niche idea into a solid blueprint. A full table of contents appeared, creating this logical journey for the reader, from shifting their mindset about money to learning practical skills, and finally, to building wealth with a real purpose. Just like that, an idea became a structured product with a super clear value proposition.
And here's the really genius marketing angle. The book is built on a very specific framework, Sharia-compliant principles, but it's communicated in the universal language of ethical finance. That strategy is brilliant because it lets it perfectly serve a core audience while also appealing to a much, much broader market of anyone who's looking for responsible financial advice.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? How can you apply this playbook that went from a wild, chaotic character to a really polished finance book to your own ideas?
The whole journey really boils down to this simple 3-step funnel. First, you play. Just explore ideas with no pressure. Second, you productize. Find the commercial potential and test it out. And finally, you perfect. You refine what you've learned into a high-value niche product. This is a repeatable playbook for literally any creator out there.
And that brings us to the final question. Really? This creator's journey, it started with a single sentence, and it evolved into a brand and a book blueprint. So think about your own creative sparks. What idea are you going to bring to life?